rustle fervently and roots tear along the earth as the lashing vines pull the grotesque creatures along the ground. A few of the Luxons are overrun by the foul creatures and let out blood-curdling screams as the thorns and claws tear into them. Before you know it, they're upon you. Roll initiative.
Oh my god.
10.
All right.
Middle of the road.
Whoa!
No decisions yet for me.
I think this is the best initiative I've ever gotten. 21.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm normally like 8, 5, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17.
Nice. And Magnus.
Very sluggish 4.
Oof.
Oh,
Rolled a 1.
we switched.
It is chaos in the camp as the Luxons grab their nearby weapons. You see some of them have staffs, some of them brandish swords. Others seem to be rushing into battle merely with their bare hands. Fellmen grab nearby axes and wood-cutting implements that they've brought with them and rush into battle as well. A few of them cower back. You see some of the younger Fellmen who are just trying to get by. One of the Luxons actually takes them and kind of gathers them up and is getting anybody who can't fight and taking them further back into the cave inlet, while everyone else rushes forward to meet the attackers. Brody, as you are just kind of like taking in what's going on around you, you see that there are 2 of these little vine-whipping creatures crawling across the ground towards you, and in a matter of seconds they'll be upon you. What do you do?
Bonus action, cast Hex on one of them.
Okay.
Go attack.
Your hand that has the marks on it, you kind of like threw it
Threw
forward,
blood,
and there was just
yeah.
like a splash that kind of hits the vines and sizzles, and you see the steam begins to rise off of them as you hex one of the creatures.
Steamy.
And,
Okay.
and you rush up to meet it.
18 to hit.
18 hits for sure.
Hell yeah.
We haven't had a long rest, have we?
No.
We also haven't fought with
Or
these
is it-
characters in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Those wood
okay,
fellers.
Cool. I'm out of spell slots. That's good.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I recovered the one I used.
Um,
So I have both mine.
Well,
'Cause we had a short rest.
Well, this
You did have a
one
short
has spell
rest.
slot, so here we go.
Useful during this.
I don't have any spell slots. Any.
Hex is decent. Yeah, I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby. I can pay with blocks.
Ooh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
21 damage.
Holy shit. Brody, you rush forward and slash down with Sonder into one of these creatures, and you can feel his heartbeat as it begins to align with yours in your chest as you strike and slice through. Black ichor just coats the ground, and you destroy one of the creatures and turn to meet the other one, which is already upon you now and lunging at you. You bring up a quick parry and even slice a few vines off of it, and the tendrils kind of recoil, but it seems still intent on you. And it's at that moment that you hear thudding in the distance, and you turn to look, and you see coming around the bend is a large stump of a rotting tree pulling itself along with its roots. You see a number of Luxons rush to meet it. Some of them are being grabbed by the roots. One of them you see is actually grabbed and pulled into its mouth. It then bites down, and there's a gout of blood. Meanwhile, we rush across the battlefield over to Auric Sauvier, where there are 3 creatures bearing down on you. How's Auric responding in this moment? I'll say it's not your turn, but just what's kind of going on.
Is it possible to grab like a torch or something with fire?
There is a campfire nearby. There's not a torch. I'll say make a dexterity roll. I'm going to call this a difficulty of 15.
Oh, it's only a 13.
Looking desperately for a torch, but you don't see anything, but you see that there is a small campfire there. You reach in and grab the unburnt end of one of the logs and just pick that up. You do take a point of fire damage from that as the flame licks and curls across your ungloved hand. You've got this flaming log in your hand. Petra is there beside you. You see kind of like places a hand on your shoulder. You see in that moment, as these 3 creatures are approaching you, Petra is there at your side. He pulls a spear from the ground where it was just kind of stuck in next to it. You actually see that there's like a cooked fish on the end of it that he kind of wipes away as he picks it up. And there's a moment where he starts to bring his hand forward, and you see this almost like crackling energy behind his eyes, and there's almost a faint glow to his very pallid skin. But then he kind of like blinks it away and is going to slash out with the spear instead. natural 20.
Nice.
Way to go.
Stabs the spear into one of these like creatures, and as he does, you see its vines kind of like grip around the spear and actually break the haft in his hand, but the point remains lodged into the creature, and it seems to have slowed it down significantly.
Were they attacking the big one that came around the corner, or just another small one?
No. The big one is a ways off.
Okay.
It's tangled with several Luxon that are fighting it. You guys are kind of off by yourself with
Right.
the first group of smaller creatures that approached. The gripper that was just slashed, or rather stabbed by Petra, lets out this horrid squeal, breaks the haft of the spear, and then you see as two of the vines shoot out and wrap around his ankles, and it rushes forward and bites into his leg. He shouts and kind of like stomps and kicks at it and pulls himself away. Two more rush up to you, Audic, and are going to attempt to do the same to you. These lashing vines whip out, and you see these like thorn-like teeth protruding from these tiny little maws that just clack as they come at you. The first one, a 7 to hit. The second one's gonna roll an 18.
18 hits.
5 points of piercing damage as you manage to step out, sidestep at one as it lashes at you and just kind of like rolls past and is catching itself because you see its roots digging into the ground to steady itself behind you. The other one, while you're distracted watching that, you feel it sink into your calf and just kind of like kick it away. Brody, the other one that's on you, is going to do a similar thing. It actually leaps up into the air, and you feel the vines grasping at your shoulders as it tries to bite down. That's a 21 to hit.
Yeah.
You also take 5 points
Am I near either?
piercing damage. Yeah, you're all kind of clustered together. There's not like a huge distance between any of you.
Can I use my interception as a reaction on the one that just attacked Brothy?
Yeah, how does that work?
When a creature you can see hits a target other than you within 5 feet with an attack, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage the target takes by 1d10 plus your proficiency bonus.
For sure. Does that require you to have a shield to use it?
Nope.
Cool. That was 5 damage is what I said?
10 without my proficiency bonus.
Oh, excellent. So yeah,
I just
Saoirse.
kind of put my hammer in the way.
Yeah, you see the vines like wrapping up and coiling around Brody's shoulders, and you just like bring the hammer up under the creature, and it doesn't deal any damage, but just kind of carries it with the momentum that it was
just kinda
already.
lever it off.
Yeah, it was already like leaping up, and you just carry it continually upwards, and it just kind of plumps back to the ground.
Dope.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, that's super rad. Saoirse, just as you have time to knock this creature off of Brody, 2 more come up behind you and are going to attempt to lash out at you.
Yeah.
The first one's 15.
Nope.
Yeah.
The second one is a natural 19.
Level 1, AC 20.
You willingly turn your back on these two, like you were aware of them coming, but you see the one attacking Brody, and you turn and you keep it from hitting him. One of them leaps and misses you. I keep rolling the same thing. 5 points of piercing damage. As the second one leaps up and bites into your hip, and you just kind of like elbow it off of you, and it rolls across the ground and is coming back for more. Magnus, one of the creatures has made it up to you as well. You encountered those creatures coming up out of the ground in Lokvara. You had the tussle with the Fellman, but these creatures, I think your mind is lost for a moment and stuck back when you were young 10-year-old Magnus, seeing them overrun your town and hearing the screams of the people, and I think that overtakes you for a moment as one of them gets close enough to attempt to attack you.
I would agree.
That's a 21.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Whoa, is that a 2?
Yeah.
That's crazy. 4 points of piercing damage.
Are you down?
No, I'm all right. I mean, I'm not all right, but
Squishy little boy.
He's just a baby.
Half Magnus's hit points.
Oh my god. Bad man.
So
I mean, down half too.
there's like 7 of these baddies and then 1 big boy.
There's 8 of them. Well, 7 now.
All right.
Brody took one out up top. But yeah, just so you guys are aware, there are 3 of them on Audic and Petra. There's now 1 on Brody. There's 2 on Saoirse and 1 on Magnus. Petra and Alvier are here as well. They just haven't gone yet. Well, rather, Petra has. He used the spear. But Saoirse, as all of this is happening around you, you hear Magnus cry out behind you. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore the ones that are on me, and I'm gonna go swing my hammer all the way back and try to knock the one off of Magnus.
Yeah, as you hear Magnus yell, go ahead and roll to attack.
7.
7 misses.
Is there any chance that they would have flanking since it's between us?
Actually, Magnus, in this moment, you see Saoirse as she turns from the 2 creatures that are attacking her, and you have this flash of her rushing forward, striking down, and just as she's about to hit, the creature that's on you lets go and moves out of the way. And you see as Saoirse misses, and one of them comes up behind her and begins biting on her, and Saoirse goes down, and this whole battlefield unfolds before you come back to yourself in this moment and see that Saoirse has just turned. You look down at the one that's biting you, and you grab it, and actually, Saoirse, you rolled a 19.
Nice.
Oh! That is 13 points of damage, and I would like to use my Crusher Feat to move that little guy back 5 feet.
As you rush forward and bring up your hammer, you feel this welling of power within your core. It's like a flame that's raging inside of you that is waiting to be released. And if you so choose, you can expend one of your now 2 spell slots to do a Divine Smite.
Yeah, I want to do that.
As Magnus and Saoirse have both hit level 2.
Oh! Snap.
Whoa.
That was loud.
It's a D8. That's one of your 2 first level spell slots that you know.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna find somewhere to mark that off. Okay, 14.
14, no need to use the crusher. You all watch as, actually you tell me what does it look like as you bring your hammer down on this, as they're called, grippers.
I've been, I have
just
been
little
waiting
toes.
for this moment. In the moment that I cast my Divine Smite, probably unknown to me, where normally it's kind of like, yeah, she's glowy, her hair is fiery. Instead, I kind of become like a lit match where it's just my whole head is in flame, and
like,
you just kind of see like 2 little eyes.
Hell yeah, like Angry Hades style almost.
That extends through to my hammer, which is kind of glowing like it's on the forge, like it's completely white, almost like melty.
Hell yeah. And yeah, there's a bright flash of light as this happens, and I think what's most astonishing to you, Magnus, is that she hits the creature that is on you as you're holding it, and you feel the warmth of the flame, but there's almost like a soothing, calming feel to it. Like it doesn't burn you. It's like being enveloped in a hug. For a brief instant,
Not
as there's
for that
just
guy.
as there's just this flash, the creature itself squeals and becomes inflamed, and there's actually no ichor that gets on either of you because it all burns away, and the creature just turns to ash. You all kind of have a passing glance as Alvi puts his palm to the ground, and as he raises it, it's almost like this tree grows and takes this sort of curved shape, and as it does, he bends it and takes a string from his belt, and he's going to string the bowstring that just grew from the ground, pulls out 2 arrows. He's going to risk it. He's going to use his weapon feat to notch 2 arrows at once and fire them at the 2 grippers that are still bound for Saoirse. So I'll make 2 attacks with disadvantage.
That's cute.
First one hits, second one misses.
Okay.
So he'll use his second attack to fire a single arrow. Whoop,
Hell yeah.
with no disadvantage. Yeah, Alvy's been living out here, so he's a little further along than most would be.
Would be.
Just fire at that same one. Because he's a woodman.
He's a little wooden boy.
13 hits.
When do I get to go out into the world on my own?
I want to be a real boy. That one hits as well. And he manages to take out one of the 2 that was harrying, I guess, Saoirse.
It was harrowing. I felt harrowed.
Yeah. In the distance, you all watch as you see one of the Luxons who's just wearing a pair of gloves and has no weapon is standing a ways back from the tree stump and claps his hands together, and as he kind of like slides them across, You see very similar magic to what Saoirse and Magnus were able to perform as children, as this bolt of flame just kind of juts forth at the tree and catches a little bit of it on fire as it wails and cries out. You see as a couple of the branches and twigs and even a little bit of like the pus that's leaking out of the side of this
You
creature.
didn't mention pus.
Oh, it's nasty.
Gross.
It's a nasty tree.
What is pussy
like,
about
legit-
what's purulent?
It's like a,
Like, it's-
I'd say that's what you would
Question.
liken it to. It is actually, it appears like this sort of kind of like yellowish, milky sap.
Like
that's
that rubber
leaking out.
tree sap. It
Yes.
looks very pussy.
Exactly like
Yeah. Like the yellowishy, pale, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it lets out this bellowing snarl as the fire kind of like catches on it, and you see some of the vines on the side just kind of like whip up and start patting at it to put it out. Then a separate root flings out from the creature and wraps around the man who just sent the flames at it, pulls him in, and he goes into his mouth.
No!
Shit.
Ah,
Back in your group, you only have a moment to kind of witness this happening. Alvi lets out a yell as the man goes into the creature's mouth, and Arik, you still have 3 of these creatures harrowing you and Petra. What do you do?
I want to take the flaming log that I have and swing it into one of their faces.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll. This is just going to be plus your strength modifier, no proficiency.
Oh, good.
An improvised weapon.
Oh no.
Well, no.
It's a 12.
It could be worse.
You lash out at the creature, and it kind of like pulls back from the flames just in time. You can see that it does have what you could amalgamate as fear in the way that it pulls away from the fire. It seems like it is not a fan of that.
But it doesn't
It
hit.
doesn't hit, no.
Maybe it'll back off of you now that it knows you've got the fire now.
You feel a hand grabs your wrist, in your offhand, and you hear Petra's voice as he says, "I do hate being outnumbered. What do you say we even the odds?" And you feel this like jolt of energy that begins to rush through you as it seems like the light of the Sparkwinds themselves seem to leak from Petra's pores as his irises glow a vibrant blue. And he takes a step back, and as he does, you realize that the step that he's taken, he almost is gliding above the ground, away from you. And you feel this gentle tug, but you stay in place as you see a second wrist come from you, as he pulls what looks to be the mirror image of Arik from the original, like a cell dividing before your eyes, as for the first time, Arik, you invoke duplicity.
Yay!
Hell yeah.
Dope.
2 RX. Oh no.
Also, roll
it's a party.
roll a d4.
I don't trust any of these D4s. Everything's been rolling so bad for me today. That's a 1.
Should we trade these some dice?
In that
They
welling
will
of
treat you better.
One little tiny one.
In that well of shared power, that connection that you feel to Petra in this moment, there's this deep familiarity almost that seems to extend further back than your memories. And before you have time to process that, you feel this warmth arise in your chest and you regain a spell slot.
Hell yeah.
Whee!
That's your action. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I'm gonna bonus action cantrip, Toll the Dead,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
on whichever one bit me.
That's a saving throw, correct?
Wisdom saving throw, yes.
Oh,
DC 14.
that's only a 10.
2 damage.
Better than nothing, and now it has taken damage. We rush back over. We see Magnus kind of brushing the dust of this former gripper off of himself. I hate that they're called that.
Way to go. So there's still 2 more on Saoirse and like 2
There's
on Brody.
There's
right?
one on Saoirse. The other was taken out by
One on
Alvi.
me.
One on Brody, and there's still 3 on Ariksuya.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
I'm in danger.
yeah, so there's 2 that have taken damage that are fighting Eric's.
Yes.
Okay, so the 2, I'm gonna cast Magic Missile. So I'll bring out my wand and I'll summon like those 3 spectral daggers, and I'll send 1 each at like the ones that have taken damage,
Hell yeah.
and whichever one looks less,
Yeah.
burned
There's
or chopped up or whatever.
there's the one with the spear sticking out of it is like just like pulling itself along barely. The other one, you heard that like tolling of the bell that once again takes you back to your childhood of Brody ringing the bell up in the tower. And you see as that happens, the other one next to it kind of like squealed and pulled into itself a bit. And you swear you saw like a few twigs fall off of it.
So based on that assessment, the one that looks more messed up, I'll just hit with one of the missiles, and the other one I'll hit with 2.
Excellent. So go ahead and roll the 1d4 first.
Whee!
Well, it's a 4. Plus
5.
It
5.
worked. Don't
It worked.
Hell yeah. This ethereal dagger that's got this sort of like greenish blue hue to it just like whizzes through the air and goes, it doesn't even, there's no resistance. It just goes through that creature, spreading more of the black ichor across the snow as it does, and that one is down. And then you can roll the 2 for the other one.
One's a 5, and one is a 2.
That is exactly as many hit points as it had
Hell
left.
yeah.
As you
Beautiful.
send 2 of the other daggers through the one that had just recoiled from the tolling of the bell, and this time they both stick into it before dispersing back into mist that seems to drift up into the sky, and that creature falls to the side limp. And now there's just one on Arcanarama.
Yay,
But
thank you.
that brings us back to the top of the round with Brody.
Bonus action, cast Hex on the one that's on me. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and then attack it.
Excellent.
21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
9 damage.
That is exactly enough
Perfect.
to destroy it. As you, once again, there's the spray of blood from your palm, and then you slash out with Sonder. You can hear that he gives like a cheering call as he connects and cuts through the creature, and it falls to the ground before you, leaving just 2 of these creatures still in your vicinity. There's the one on Saoirse and the one left on Arcanarama.
Yeah, I'll stay, I guess, where I'm at, yeah.
Okay. Petra looks up and towards the tree in the distance that is, at this point, just like taking out so many Luxons that they don't seem to be able to handle it much. And once again, you see that spark as he steps forward. His chest goes out and he stretches out one hand, still glowing with power, as it seems to coalesce in like down his arm and in his palm as he shoots forth this spark of energy that just kind of zigzags quickly through the air and strikes the tree.
Quick power word kill.
Maybe you don't roll that in that 20. It didn't. That's a 5.
I wasn't expecting good news.
So that's Petra.
Oh, that 5 is a good news. That was its saving throw.
God.
That's Petra attacking the large tree thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
You see as there's this crackle of energy and there's a sound of thunder that follows behind it as it strikes the trunk of the tree, and the tree once again like shrieks and you see chunks of bark fly off of it. More of this pus-like sap just kind of like sprays and is leaking down its side as it continues to bellow and turns its gaze in Petra's direction. Petra, after this moment, you see the glow is gone from him. He's was like slightly lifted off the ground, has like fallen down to earth, and you see there's almost like weight that's kind of fallen over him. Even his clothing seems to be weighing heavier on him now. As he's standing there, there's a tremble to his hand.
I'm gonna put a hand on him just to try to bolster him.
You place your hand on his back, and you can feel the like shuddering tremble that he's having, and you hear him as he's quietly under his breath, just like, no, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. And he actually like turns away and cowers to the ground and like puts his hands over his head, and is just repeating that to himself over and over again. You see as the bolt of energy that he has sent out, you expect it to like hit and disperse, and there's that sound of thunder, but it seems to linger and coalesce into this odd, like humanoid form. You see the shape of arms and legs, but it's still got this sort of crackling energy to it as it lingers there. And there's now a separate figure that is standing on the other side of the large tree.
So now we can get flanking.
Maybe they're a friend.
Maybe. We'll see. See what Sparky does here. This is just like when he accidentally created those ice wraith thingies or whatever they were called. Go over.
Hey, don't. No.
I'm just saying that seems like it's true.
No. This is something else.
I mean, it's definitely something else.
The two remaining grippers pull themselves forward on their vines. One of them is going to attempt to bite you, Saoirse.
Oh.
Bite it back.
There's only 12.
Nope.
Knock teeth with it.
You easily sidestep it. The other one lashes out with vines.
Wait, you hit your hands?
The other one lashes out with its vines at you, Alexovir. That's a 23.
23 to hit?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
4 points of...
I would like to go ahead and shove my hammer in between there.
Yeah.
That is 6 points averted.
Okay.
I was thinking as the vines come out, I just kind of put the hammer up so it's like winding around there and like.
I'm going to give you the options here. You negate the damage.
Okay.
This wasn't a biting attack.
That was fine.
Like they have been. Right. It was attempting to constrict Alexovir. I'm going to ask, do you just negate the damage and allow Alexovir to become constricted, or do you take the constriction upon yourself?
No, I'll take the constriction.
Okay, so you leap in front of the creature as it is lashing out at Alexovir. You step in front of it and stop like the teeth that were kind of like clashing forward that are now on the hilt of your hammer, and the vines just wrap around you and constrict you.
You crazy bitch.
You are restrained.
Oh, that's the bad one, isn't it?
Yes.
All I can do is try to break that restraint. Right.
Yeah, your speed becomes 0. You can't move. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and your attack rolls have disadvantage. And you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
It's certainly not ideal.
Yeah.
You're strong, though.
I am strong.
As the vines wrap around you and pull your limbs into your core, and you kind of like fall over to the side in the snow as the creature is just wrapped around you. You can see as it's like little gnashing maws now like moving up towards your throat. That's all it can do this turn. That's going to be Saoirse.
Okay.
If you'd like, you can attack it with disadvantage, or you can use your action to make an athletics check to attempt to break free.
My attacks have disadvantage, but what if I don't have to do a whole lot? Because I have the produce flame cantrip.
Yeah.
All I have to do is hold that.
That's true. I'm gonna say you can make a spell attack against the same DC for the escape, if that would be better for you than an athletics check.
Oh, no it wouldn't. I will go ahead and try and bust out.
Okay, yeah. As seriously, you just flex against the vines and hear them creaking. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Does your fiery nature perhaps give you a benefit in breaking free as well? Like maybe it's scared.
But everything is going bad.
Just so we know for the future as well, Toll the Dead is an action to cast.
Oh shit.
But that's totally fine.
7. I've rolled 7s a lot today.
You try to pull against the vines and they just tighten tighter around you.
All right.
Every time you seem to break through one, another one seems to grow and wrap around you. And also every time you break through one, you get more of that black ichor on you that's just kind of like coating your clothes and skin. Alfir is going to rush over to Saoirse and draws a short sword from his belt, and he's just going to try and kill this thing that's on you. First attack, natural 20.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I love when the dice have a story to tell. It's my favorite thing.
Wonderful.
Oh, but that makes it suck. Natural 20, rolled a 1 on damage for 6 points of damage. Luckily, he gets 2 attacks. Second attack, not incredible, and doesn't hit. 12 misses.
Great.
You see he slashes across it, and some of the vines there scatter, and he rears back to bring, like, on the backswing, naturally make another strike against it, and the creature kind of like pulls you over and puts you in a position where his slash would hit you, and he falters. That is Alvir's turn.
Just set it on fire. You can set it on fire. I'll be all right. Set it on fire.
You're yelling this out, and he begins
It's probably
looking
kind of
around.
like, set it.
He begins looking around, sees the fire that Arik pulled the log from, and like has a moment where he's about to, and then looks at his wooden flesh, and he's like, "Wait."
Get somebody else.
The tree begins stalking across the field towards Petra, who's still just crumbled on the ground. All it can do is get nearer to all of you. It's within about 20 feet at this point. However, following quickly behind it is this strange figure of light and energy that you see with each step that the creature takes through the snow. The form becomes more solid, and there's this amalgamation of, I wouldn't call it flesh, but it's almost like this figure is translucent, and you can see as the energy is channeled into these like veins and neurons within it that you can see occasionally, like light will spark across beneath the flesh.
Like those the things where like it's just the nerves all laid out.
Yes.
Of
Like
your-
when Dr. Manhattan is like just forming back his nerves.
Yes, except there's like that translucent case around it of the body.
Sick.
Initially,
And-
I was envisioning the like when Mr. Burns is emerging, like glowing from the forest, and everyone thought he was an alien. You know what I'm
Okay, when he
talking
has his
about?
eye drops in. The creature stalks forward, starting at a slow pace and then coming up to a jog behind the tree as it holds its hand out to the side, and some of that same energy extends into this blade in its hand, and it's going to make an attack against the tree. Oh, come on, dude. That's only a 9. It's going to try and attack one more time. That's better. 23 definitely hits the tree.
Hell yeah.
14 damage. And again, as the sword slices through each time the trunk of the tree, there's a crack of thunder with each hit as it moves with inhuman agility. Aruxavir, Petra is huddled to the ground before you, just kind of like curled up into a ball, hands over the head, and whimpering into his chest. What do you do?
Point of order. I just
There's
want to
still a creature harrowing both of you as well. Harrying. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. I think it's harrying.
Harrowing is like annoying, but harrowing.
Harrowing.
Is like,
Harrowing is like a
But
situation.
harrowing
Yeah.
is a feeling.
adjective.
Yeah.
I think
That is harrowing.
harrying is a verb.
Yeah, harrowing is
Yeah.
like a situational description versus a verb that a creature
Harassing?
is doing.
You're still being accosted by one, by one of the grippers.
Menaced?
Attacked.
Okay, point of order. I want to make sure that I'm getting this right. So, you can cast a spell with your action and then a cantrip with your bonus action, right?
Only if the cantrip is a bonus action to cast.
Yes.
What is this? What does the fighting field look like? There's somebody bothering me. There's somebody strangling her.
What, 2 left now?
Giant tree.
Yeah, there's 2 left. There's one that is constricting Saoirse, and then there's one that is still lashing out and attacking at you, Aruxavir. Petra has crumbled to the ground, and there's a large tree that is bearing down on your group.
Where I am, is it possible to hit both the one that's attacking me and the one that's on Saoirse with burning hands?
Yeah, that's a 15-foot cone.
Yeah.
It would also hit Saoirse. She would have disadvantage on the dex save, but she did just say use fire. It won't hurt.
Yeah, we're doing it. Okie dokie.
Check something.
You have resistance. You roll to the side and just reach out with your long fingers and grab the creature that's been harrowing you. Kind of like stick your fingers like almost in its maw, but to the side, so they're behind the teeth.
Oh, God.
And there's this welling of flame that gouts forth from you. That's going to be a dexterity saving throw, correct?
I just have disadvantage on that, right? Not.
Correct.
Yeah,
You don't
dexterity.
auto fail. You just have disadvantage. Let me double check that.
There's a chance.
Yeah. So here's something I wanted to point out. That is also a spell I was interested in learning. So I'm going to pay close attention to the manner in which Eric's is casting it.
Yeah.
10 does not save.
Oh my god.
It doesn't.
Okay, just checking in.
That's a 14 from the one constricting Saoirse.
Okay,
And the
good.
one right in front of you rolls a 12.
12 doesn't save.
Hell yeah.
So that one takes full damage. The other 2 take half, I believe.
Fuck yeah.
Burning hands.
3, 6.
Saoirse, you failed?
Yeah.
Okay, so, so you'll take just half damage.
But what if I love her and I don't want to hurt her? Does that change anything?
Too bad.
Gonna be fine.
Summon the flames, just make a little heart.
Saoirse hasn't taken any damage yet.
I have.
You have?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't
Not
write it down.
much.
What are you at right now? Well, let's
Better
get
than
this.
us.
this out first.
15.
15? Okay. There's
Good job.
no secret about this anymore. These creatures are vulnerable to fire. So even the ones that saved, that completely incinerates them. 15 have to... 7 points. You still up?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How many hit points do you have currently? Brother, you're still at 11 hit points?
Yeah, I'm
Did you-
so full, I think.
Did you get new hit points for your level 2, or are we not at
Alright,
those yet?
6.
We haven't done that yet.
Okay.
But in theory, I do have more than one.
So you basically the way that this level up is working is those of you who have leveled up, which is all of you except for Brother
Max
so far.
goes up, but not.
Yeah, your max increases, but your current does not increase.
So
You
when
haven't healed up to that.
When we rest, we'll figure out that we can do better.
Right.
Can and should.
Excellent. Yeah, Audic, you grab the gripper in your hand, you grip it back, and
Get gripped.
there's that welling of power as this like greenish blue flame gouts from you, and both creatures just turn to ash. Saoirse, it's hot and it does hurt, but it doesn't hurt you as much as you anticipated it would. There's still that like just natural instinct to pull away from fire and heat, but as you feel the restraints on you wither away to ash, the flame subsides and you are still together.
Hold up.
I didn't know I could do that.
It's all right. It all worked out.
Excellent.
Just like rolling over to my elbows and knees, like.
Just like patting you out.
Yeah. Magnus, you see Audic is patting out the extra green flame on Saoirse as Petra is there on the ground still, and he's like fallen over into a fetal position on his side at this point and continues to mutter to himself. Broly is pulling Sonder from the remains of the second creature that was on him, and you see, like, you instinctively, Broly, you go to like wipe the black ichor from Sonder, but it just kind of soaks into the blade.
I forgot he has teeth too.
And an
Better
eyeball
to bite you with.
watching from the hills. What do you do, Magnus? This tree is bearing down on the group of you.
Is there any chance?
Fireball.
No.
Is there any chance I level up again?
Yeah. Is there any chance I level up a few more times? Cast level. Is there any chance that I could
Your sword.
mimic the spell that Eric's just cast to try to also cast Burning Hands on the tree?
I'll say in this moment, if it's not a spell that you have already like learned or prepared,
It's not.
then you can make an Arcana check. We'll call this a DC 18.
Not
It
good enough.
almost.
Not good.
It
It was
almost
almost
did
nat
it.
20 again. Okay.
Roll a D100.
29.
You see, as all this is going down and the tree is bearing down on you, you kind of like straighten up, kind of like redo a button, and step forward and hold your hands out like Audic did, and begin trying to mimic the way that she created that gout of flame. And as you do, there's like sparks at your palms that then retreat up into your arms, and you get this odd sense of heaviness that comes over you as you become slightly intoxicated.
Spell drunk.
And you have disadvantage on maintaining concentration spells for the next hour.
Very good.
Oh boy.
Oh.
And also you're standing in front of this large, grotesque tree that is going to close on you probably soon.
No,
This,
I'm going
this is
to.
going to be a core memory.
Definitely. Don't try to cast weird spells that you don't know yet.
A cringe weasel pops out from her.
Disappears into a burrow.
It's all right. I'll figure it out next time. All right. Well, I'm
Such an
gonna.
odd little sound.
I'm gonna like. I'm seeing it coming towards the group. I'm going to try to dodge laterally out of the way, which people usually don't do in horror movies. Like
Yeah,
they should.
for sure. You do so. We'll say you take like 15 feet to the side to move laterally away from the creature. It doesn't seem intent on you at all. I'm going to say in this moment, without a roll required, you're a very intelligent person. You see the creature's kind of hollow, white pussy gaze seems to be focused on Petra.
Oh.
It's not
I
a...
love the idea that you just like dark souled rolled. You're like, oh no, I'm good.
Do mark off that spell slot though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. So that was my action and my movement, and I don't have any bonus actions, so I'm all done.
Okay, that brings us back to the top of the round. Brody, you hear Saunders' voice in your mind as he calls out with excitement and fervor in his voice.
We're not done yet. Turn. Show that creature your mark.
Yeah. Turn. Show it my mark.
Yeah, you you kind of like, Brody, you look down at your palm and the mark there, and you see that 2 of the 6 marks that have all been kind of like swirling close to the center, 2 of them have actually connected in the middle. And in that connection, you see this little flicker. I'm going to ask you to tell me, as you stretch your palm forth towards the tree and there's this spark, what does it look like as you cast Eldritch Blast?
Ooh.
I think it looks like a bone splinter, like shooting up.
Yeah, as you look down at your palm and see that connection, there's this spark, and then this just pale white bone that protrudes a bit. And as you outstretch your hand and pull it back, it shoots forth. I'm also going to ask you to tell me which Eldritch Invocation takes effect as the blast hits, if it hits.
I guess Lance of Lethargy?
Nice. Is that the one?
So, slows it by 10 feet.
Hell yeah.
Like, obviously, it'd be smart to do more damage, but that's fun.
Yeah, for sure. That can be super helpful in a lot of situations. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Okay. 20-something, yeah.
Yeah, that hits. Wow, that's actually great.
1.
Oh.
Well,
Yay.
The bone shard flies forward and just like juts into the roots of the creature as it's pulling itself along. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but you watch as the bone shard kind of like shatters, and each shard becomes this sort of like bramble almost that tangles up in the roots and slows the creature almost to a grinding halt. This thing could only move 20 feet in a round to begin with. Now it can only go 10.
Oh yeah.
As you reduce its movement by 10 feet. That's actually
it's great for us.
super clutch. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's your action.
Yeah. I'll move that to make sure I'm more than 10 feet away.
Yeah, for sure. You take a step back, probably mirroring Magnus on the other side. You'll go sort of out and away from it as it's continuing to move towards Petra. Speaking
roll.
of,
As it's like very slowly.
It's really far away. Shit. It was cool, right?
Petra is lying on the ground. He looks at his shaking hands and stares at them for a moment. Instinctively, he like reaches down at his side, and it's just kind of like grasping there. You see, like he doesn't have like a satchel or any pouches or anything on him right now, but he's just like grasping for something. Nothing comes of it. All of the grippers have been destroyed. Saoirse, you've been patted out by Arik and kind of like get up and brush some of the. Actually, I guess as you're getting up, some of the melted snow steams off of you.
Yeah.
And you look up and you see the large tree struggling but still pulling itself pretty much towards the 3 of you who are still together with Petra and Albie there in the center.
Arik, can you do that again?
I'm looking at my hands like, I don't think so.
All right.
A little bit of like a singe on not your gloved hand but your exposed hand, and you get the sense like if you tried to do it again it would hurt you.
All right, let's focus on getting this guy further away. and I will kind of like dust myself off, and I'm gonna cast Produce Flame. I just kind of pull a glob out of my hair, and I'm gonna hurl it at this thing. I'm gonna try. I want to get in its mouth.
Hell yeah, make an attack roll.
Ugh, hair in the mouth. Gross. That's the worst attack. I didn't know this game was going to be so much body horror.
I didn't either.
To be fair, my hair is globby fire.
I know it's mostly me, but I blame him.
I gave you 3 choices.
I'm here for
Slash sorcerer, whatever. Slash warlock.
That's a natural 20.
Oh shit!
That's a natural 20.
high five.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that certainly hits. Go ahead and roll damage and double the die.
D8. Do I roll 2 D8? I can't
You
remember.
No.
just keep sounding like different
I've been doing what
birds.
you guys told me to do, which
I
is you
can't
roll
remember.
you roll 1 and you double it.
Okay, thank you.
The end. 4. Excellent.
Doubled, or that's the total?
That's the total.
That's the total.
You rolled a 2?
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Got it.
You see the flame catches. It does go straight into its mouth. The creature just kind of like and continues on. It closes its mouth to snuff out the fire, but you see smoke kind of like rising up from the top of the stump. It seems like it injured it more than it looked like.
What would it take to pick up Petra? He's a little guy. He's a wispy.
He is wispy. Well, he's not a little guy. He's like 6'5".
Right, but he's wispy.
But he is willowy. Yes.
Yeah.
He is bigger than any person in this room.
Unfortunately, it would take your action
Okay.
to try and pick him up. He's not dead, so he's not an object, so you wouldn't get like a free object interaction, unfortunately.
No, that's fine.
Can you yell at him?
You can try and like convince him to move or try and like break him out of whatever's happening to him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give him a little bap bap. All right, we gotta go now.
You bonus action or like patting him on the face. Make an insight check.
Bonus
first.
action bap bap.
Bap, 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 bap.
Like a cat.
Little natural 1.
I have to go home. I have 1 hit point and the rolls are dark.
We're doing great with the ones over here today.
You can see
Was
even on a natural 1, you can see that in Petra's eyes, he's not here.
Yeah.
You kind of like patted his face. I'll say on a natural 1, you like patted his face to try and like get him like, let's go. And he stops grabbing at his side and just starts like flailing and trying to like hit your hands away from him. Very weak.
Arik!
What happened to the sparkly thing that he shot that was like
Oh, it's still there.
humanoid?
It's
So
still behind the tree.
Still there? Okay. Cool.
Alright.
It's gonna be Alvier. You see he like reaches up into his quiver and feels for these specific arrows, which he takes out. He's gonna use a bonus action to grab a bit of flint and light the cotton that's been stuffed into the cage of those. And he's going to once again use his bonus action. Actually, he used his bonus action to light the fire. So he's gonna fire 2 of those arrows one at a time at the tree. 23 definitely hits. Second one misses, but you see as Alvi fires out with the first flaming arrow, and it goes wide and just kind of like whizzes past the creature, probably sticks into some grippers that are still being taken on by the Luxons behind him. You can see a number of them are now producing flame as well in various different ways to combat these creatures. He fires his second arrow, and it sticks right into the tree's eye, which lets out another howl, and it's just kind of like squirming as the flame licks up from it, and it continues trying to pull itself forward slowly as it can. That's going to be the tree.
No.
Just gets like 10 more feet close to the group of you, Petra, Alvier, Saoirse, and Odyx. And you see it's like continuing to pull itself forward, but knows that it can't get to you yet. And you see as it almost like there's this creaking of wood and like the shredding of like wood plank that you hear as its face almost caves in a little bit before it opens its mouth and just bellows out a mixture of this pus, blood, and all of the things that it has devoured and people that it has devoured in a 30-foot cone. I need all of you to make a dexterity saving throw.
including me.
Cameron, I don't know if you know,
All of
but
you that I just named. So
you're
not
putting a lot of gross shit in this.
sorry. So not Brody and not Magnus. You guys
We're
sidestepped.
dodge roll friends.
Not me,
No.
but I made a nat 20.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's from your dodge roll earlier.
Should have saved it and rolled it when you needed to.
Oh, please. Please not a 1. Please not a 2. Please not a 1. Please not a 2. Okay, it wasn't a 1.
Did you roll a 3?
4. Yeah.
6.
6 for
All
me.
right. Yeah.
That's
Solid.
a 19.
Is there any
Alright.
chance that I could draw upon my other divination insight to let Saoirse re-roll that dexterity?
Oh, you know what?
That's what happened? I don't know what happened earlier.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you have another one of those moments where you see as this bile is expelled on the group of them, it covers all of them, and as it settles, you see Saoirse is there on the ground and her skin is melting away from her bone, her flame extinguished, and you call out to her, and actually, Saoirse, you rolled a 15. What does that
19.
bring you to
Yep.
total?
17.
17 just succeeds.
19.
19 succeeds.
17 just succeeds?
Mhm.
Holy shit.
Petra
Face.
auto fails. He's not paying attention. Alvir is here.
Meanwhile, I did the sickest fucking roll.
You do a back handspring.
And it's not even close to me.
Alvir fails with a 16. Arik, I think you see Saoirse like going to move out of the way at Magnus's call, and you see she kind of like falls and like grabs her side where there's probably some broken ribs from being constricted. You scoop her up, and both of you just like roll out of the way as the bile coats Petra, and Alvi is like just not able to get out of the way. It hits like his basically from the waist down as he's like leaping. Alvir takes 17 points of acid damage.
But he's like level 10.
He's still good. But you see like his clothing starts like burning away as he's like wiping at it. And you can see like
I cover Sish's eyes.
you can see like
Tame modesty.
flesh and cloth alike are like sloughing off as he like tries to wipe it away.
Oh.
It's like putting snow on himself to try and stop this reaction.
Wait, I have a question. Are his abs okay?
Yeah, his abs are fine, front and back.
Possibly
So wait.
more defined than ever.
Yeah, actually,
Sure.
So he is made of wood, though, right?
Woodish.
not in
I
the
mean,
way.
in the same way that I am made of fire, he
Yes.
still has like.
But he's got
muscles and-
fucking pecs, or like their abs, and yeah, like he's built,
Yeah, I described him as chiseled.
Yeah.
Carved even.
carved,
Yeah.
chiseled.
That is the creature's turn. That's going to be
He's whittled.
the other creature.
That doesn't sound good.
Just going to do a quick roll.
It doesn't.
Sounds like it's like
Like he's a
Evil.
little guy.
yeah.
He's widowed.
He's a widow.
Oh, oh.
Just a widow baby.
From behind, after this acid is spewed forth, you see the creature that was summoned by Petra rushes forward, sword out, and there's this flash and thunder as suddenly he is standing on the other side of the tree, which then lets out a moan, and there's the cracking of wood again as it splits in half. And as it does, more bile spills out, and like the contents of its stomach are there, mingled in with one another. Petra sits up from a lying position and wipes some of this like from himself, and like shakes it off and stands up. And you see like all of his clothes melt away, but his flesh is unscathed. As he just kind of like stands there, wipes it off, and like sees himself. He's like,
Well, now that my penis is out, I feel better.
like looks around for a second. You see the Luxons in the distance are fending off the last, and it seems like after the tree was split and destroyed, the rest of these little gripping vine creatures begin to disperse and rush away from the scene.
Alvi will take any excuse to hang branch.
Petra, you see, walks over. There's another one of those like carts that's just piled up with various like cloaks that the Luxons were wearing. He picks up one of them and he's like, Alvir, cover yourself. Puts it around him, still fully nude. Alvi kind of like sits up and is like stretching his legs to make sure that all the muscles are still intact. Seems good. He closes the cloak around himself and calls out to everyone. He's like, is everyone all right? Is anyone badly
We're
injured?
just all fucked up. Like,
I'm just gonna kind of drag myself over and lay on hands, Albie.
Oh, that's nice.
Before you,
How many points do you give him?
But
you are so close to dead.
somebody else has got me.
There's this warmth. I assume you like put a hand on his shoulder. Or, like, do you touch both palms to like his back? The chest. Yeah. Both hands to his chest, and there's that like warmth that rushes over him, and he almost like recoils for a bit, seeing the flame, but realizing that it doesn't hurt him. He like leans into it, and you see that he's more exhausted than he let on. And there's like a moment where you're holding him up before he like steals
That's
himself.
a bad plan.
Before he like steals himself and takes a breath, he looks over and he's like, "Saoirse, you are badly injured. Come."
It's fine. And I just kind of.
He's gonna catch you before you go down, and yeah, Alvier will just, like lift Saoirse up, and he carries you over to his tent and puts you in his cot to rest and recover.
What are we going to do?
You need rest. You need to sleep.
blushing.
From all the rolling, I'm a little winded.
Yeah.
Of
Unscathed,
course.
otherwise.
Unscathed
Are
otherwise.
you looking at Albie like, I'm a little winded?
But I'm just like catching my breath and I have my sword in the ground. And then I think you see some of like ichor or whatever blood sap stuff they have start to like be soaked up. And then it kind of like reinvigorates me. And I'm going to make a roll.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get 8 temporary health points.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
That's dope. Also, those dice are sick.
Oh,
those are-
the eyes in them.
Mm-hmm.
Alvier, he takes off the shredded remains of his pants and changes clothes in his tent. Hangs up the cloak on these
I'm
little
dying.
like clothespins
I'm busy.
between him and Saoirse for modesty. And
Who's modesty?
just like back to you, he redresses himself and rushes out. I'll probably go to you first, Magnus and Brody. Saoirse is in my tent. She looks like she took quite a beating from those creatures.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could keep an eye on her. I need to check on my men.
Of course.
And he's going to rush out and kind of assess the damage and how many were lost in this attack. And you get the sense from the sort of like hardened demeanor that he's approached it with that this isn't the first time something like this has happened. This is probably pretty common to experience things like this living outside the walls.
Yeah, I'll check on everyone in our group, make sure we're all together and alive and good. And how's Petra?
Petra's fine.
Oh, okay.
He seems like he's his usual. He's no longer like wallowing. He's in his usual sort of eccentric self. Still fully nude.
What happened to
Yeah.
the lightning dude? Is he still there?
yeah.
Did he? Oh, okay.
He stands there like assessing the damage of the tree for a moment. You see as he just like holds his hand out and the sword is absorbed up the arm as this like trickle of light. Looking at the figure now, they appear almost fully humanoid, but they have this bluish tint to their skin, dark blue hair that's pulled back in sort of like a warrior's tail behind the head. And there's just like occasionally where you would see like veins in a regular human person, you can see that like glow of electricity that occasionally sparks through, like neurons sparking within.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic to get a better view of the forces that are involved in this being's existence, and also so I can examine like the grippers and this tree monster to see if there's any other information I can glean about what their
Yeah.
nature is.
First off, looking at the creature, this sort of like lightning man who has been birthed before your eyes, you get the brightest glow of magic that you've ever seen before. It seems like this entire being is like pure spark given life. You have to like cover your eyes to it. You have like glasses that you put on, right? When you detect magic.
Yeah, I create glasses like on top of my glasses.
Yeah, just like lenses over them. And yeah,
What
looking
up,
through those
six
like
eyes?
once your eyes adjust to the brightness, you can see the notes that are then like scrawled that kind of like write themselves down on the lenses for you to be able to read that this is an immense source of evocation magic. You can also make either a nature or an arcana check looking over the creature's bodies.
Do Arcana.
Okay. DC 12.
I rolled a 3, which only is a 10.
With the creature in its current state, it's hard to assess like what its makeup was, especially since a lot of that bile is sort of like dissolving now. The bits of wood and this odd like mixture of wood and flesh. And there's the whereas all of like the smaller creatures were letting out this black ichor, this one was just that sort of like milky substance that's very viscous.
Can I look at them through the lens of the lore of like the Elderkin and the fables and try to determine anything else about them?
Yeah, make a religion check.
16.
Your assessment is that these are like if these are in any way related to the Elderkin, it would be a loose relation, in the way that Zoenveer are said to come from animals, even though they are clearly distinct. Because you know that the stories of the Elderkin refer to them as being, created in the image of Thrunamor, or like the image of humanity. These are not humanoid beings at all. These are tangles and more tree-like than anything else. Let me double check this real quick, because I think that roll did get you something, Magnus. You do find something that might be useful to you down the road. You'd have to do some more research and experiments, but in each of these little gripper bodies, you see that there's this little like pouch that doesn't seem to match the makeup of the rest of the creature. And you can collect, so you can get up to 5 spore sacs if you would like.
I would like.
All right, just add gripper spore sac times 5 to your inventory.
Add it.
Yuck.
I'll add also as like the ichor goes into me and whatever, and you have detect magic, I'd start getting off like a green aura. Which, are you familiar with like what the different schools of magic are?
Yes,
Okay.
to a degree.
It'd be
It's still like being researched, of course.
necromancy.
Yeah, and you see there's like these thin trails of that green glow that seem to like, with each of Broly's heartbeats, will like progress a little bit further.
Which there are 2.
Yeah,
You have 2 hearts?
2
You
heartbeats.
see
Oh,
2
2
pulses
heartbeats?
Yeah.
with the magic, yeah.
Interesting.
As all of you gather around, and Saoirse, you've been placed in bed. The Luxons are bandaging their wounds and seeing to their wounded. A number of the Fellmen also had fallen during this fight. You see that of the Fellmen that you met, the only ones who survived are Gash, who was like the overseer, Charade. Charade and Stain both hung back and didn't fight, and Patches.
So Gash, Charade, Stain, and Patches are the only survivors?
Yes.
Okay, so Fog, Gray, Flinch, Ripple, Garnish, Wolf, Flint, Gaunt, Roan, Toad, and Anchor are all toast. Well, that's...
Oh, sorry. Anchor, Garnish, Ripple, Flint, and Anchor? I have those names in bold. I think those were the attackers.
Garnish, Ripple, Flint, and Roan.
Yeah, and Anchor. Anchor was the
Right.
one who initiated the fight against Saoirse.
Flint, Ripple, Garnish. Okay, so just Fog, Gray, Flinch, and Gaunt and Toad died.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a lot, but...
Yeah. But yeah, more importantly, 4 that are allowed to roam freely survived. And that's Gash, Charade, Stain, and Patches.
Well, that was bloody.
That was bad. You got any more of the good paste?
Do I?
I mean, you might have some of the paste, but I think you're out of spell slots, and I think that was like your way of casting Cure Wounds without realizing it.
Yeah.
So you can try some of that, but it won't have the same effect.
Some tinctures, salve.
Could, if we're doing like a short rest, could they roll a hit die, their new hit die,
Sure.
to recover?
Yeah, if you guys want to take a short rest, you could also take a long rest. If you wanted to.
I mean,
Sleep.
a long rest would be
It is.
pretty great.
It is getting late in the evening. Remember, it was already.
Kind of safer to do a short rest first, right?
That wouldn't hurt.
We will be posting more watch for the night, but we'll certainly have to move camps tomorrow. You should get your rest. I don't think it would be safe or smart for us to go to Candaril in this state. Saoirse, you're welcome to my bed. I will sleep elsewhere and keep watch. The rest of you, there are cots that can be set up easily. Petra comes in. At this point, someone has put a cloak on him. She's kind of like pulled around himself, steps in. He's like, you look like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life.
I'm pretty excited to put some pen to paper, though, before I go to bed. There's a lot of insight
Sure.
that I just gleaned about different things.
Another figure steps into the tent behind Petra, as you see the strange, like, elemental figure step in.
Oh.
And you see for the first time that they don't seem to have any, like, particularly discernible gender about them.
Flesh?
Flesh, yeah. Kind of like bluish toned. Where there are veins, you would see that, like, flicker of electricity beneath the skin.
Hmm.
And it kind of coalesces in the eyes that have this constant sort of sparking to them. That's just this almost bright white. Like it's almost hard to look this figure in the eyes because it's like headlights almost. They step in and cross their arms, just like look over all of you. They don't say anything.
Do you speak?
I do.
Do you have a name?
I do.
Could you share it with us, please?
Looks to Petra. Petra's like, sure, yeah, whatever. Like, looks back to you.
I am Dravni. What is my task?
You get butter.
Oh my god. Is that up to us to decide?
Petra kind of like looks over all of you. He's like, you say we need what, people to keep watch?
Yeah.
Protect us.
I guess just like.
Can you protect us? Dravnir gets down on one knee and like bows their head, and they're like,
It would be my greatest honor.
and they stand up and exit the tent.
Do they still look human? Like,
They look humanoid, yeah.
okay.
Did you make that lightning person?
I have no recollection of this.
Because it seemed like you did.
You know he made the. What is the You know that.
Look,
We all saw it.
we did.
Petra looks like worried towards Alvir, who just kind of like silently nods. He's like, oh, it happened again.
This one seems nice, though.
This one seems like a good deal.
That is good. That is good. And it's just the one. As long as he doesn't start splitting, or... Petra like stands up. I have to go. I have somewhere I need to be. Draws near. I'm sorry. Just kind of like turns and there's like a lingering gaze on Arexivia for a moment before he turns and exits the tent as well. Alvir like raises a hand. He's like, he gets like this sometimes. Whenever he tries to use magic, I think it takes more out of him than he knows, and sometimes he forgets who he is for certain amounts of time. He forgets what he was doing, or that he even did it at all. I've never seen him use something that powerful in a long time, since he destroyed all of those creatures the night that I met him. he usually comes back.
All right.
But you all should get rest. I will keep watch and see if I can't learn more about Dravnir.
Good luck with that.
I've never had the chance to actually speak with one of Petra's creations. They've usually been too dangerous. I'm curious to know if maybe he has memories before his creation, if his consciousness comes from somewhere, or if he's perhaps a piece of Petra that has been peeled off.
I'll hand him a piece of paper and a writing implement and go, can you write down anything that you find out? Thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
Certainly, I can do this. All of you, please rest up, and tomorrow we will move camp, and in the following days, I promise we will take you to Cantrell.
Perfect.
He kind of like stands there like awkwardly for a moment, not fully knowing like how formal to be with all of you, just kind of like leaves it at a nod and exits the room.
Starts to bow.
Yeah, he's like between like a nod and a wave, and just, I think he ends up just awkwardly like making a fist.
Oh, I love that.
Cringe weasel.
Yeah.
Like fist, and then like at Saoirse, just like hand out at you.
Very good.
Yeah, a whole family of cringe weasels. Just like, let's get her out of the tent.
Oh, baby one. I'm gonna leave the tent and go bunk with my friends because it feels weird to stay here
Okay.
after that. Once the cringe weasels appear, you gotta bounce.
Yeah, they seem to
Nature's
be
warning.
multiplying.
They're getting stronger.
Unchecked. You all go and find that cots have been set up for you deeper within the tent. Several more fires have been started. Some of them, a lot of like the remains of the little vine creatures have been tossed onto the flames to make for larger fires, and they catch very well.
Poke one around.
How do they smell when they burn?
It smells just like wood.
I mean, you know, different woods smell different, but that's cool.
Sort
I'll
of
just,
like an oak smell.
Okay. I'll just try to
Classic, like,
remember it.
Classic campfire smell.
Gotcha.
There's not like any discernible scent to it.
Okay. Before I try to sleep and rest, I want to try to like codify the insights that I gained about that burning hand spell,
Yeah.
and also about the featherfall functionality from the cloak that I got,
Yeah.
because those are the two spells I want to learn from level 2.
Absolutely, yeah. You do a little bit of research before bed, and you get to the point where everyone around you is starting to fall and slumber, and I think you get to a point where you feel confident that the next time that you try, you could successfully pull off either of these two things.
Sweet.
And close your book, and you know that an important part of learning a new concept is to sleep on it.
Mm-hmm.
Something you learned at a very young age.
Yes.
Literally, face down on the paper, sleeping on it.
Yeah.
Osmosis.
Is there anything that any of the rest of you get up to before finding your sleep that evening?
I think at some point I'm just gonna sit down with Orixavir. It's okay that you set me on fire. I told you to do it. I saw you thinking about it. Sometimes you set a friend on fire, and it's for their own good. I'm just gonna hug you.
That sounds like something Granny Brynja would say.
It's cleansing of, bad omens and trees that are holding them in a death grip. Because it would have been worse if you didn't set me on fire. I would have got 8.
I knew that it was going to be difficult to return to the island, but this has gone sideways quite quickly.
I mean, the good news is we thought that maybe the tree things had eaten everybody from the very first night. And they didn't.
This is very true.
Some people lived.
I'm glad to see Alfie is alive.
That's interesting. He's so grown up.
Very grown.
Very grown up. And other stuff about him.
Canonical huge penis.
Just want to point
We all
out,
saw it.
I did have the chance to say hanging twig, and I chose branch for your band.
sweating. Anyway, I didn't want you to sleep on that and think to yourself that it was a bad thing that you did. Everyone lived. It was a calculated risk.
Well, not everyone.
Okay, nobody died as a result of Oryxavir setting people on fire.
True.
So it's fine.
Yes.
We got a couple.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
And you feel this wash, for the first time, I think, ever, this wash of like contentment from Sonder.
Hell yeah. Feel great.
Yeah.
Like literally the best I've felt in my life right now. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's probably hard for Brody to sleep because you're like renewed with this sense of vigor as everyone else is off to bed. And I think for a while there's like that sense of contentment, and then there's this odd feeling of you feel Saunders' presence. But it's like old friends sitting by the fire where, you know, you've already caught up and neither
Don't
of you
need to talk.
Yeah, you know, nobody has to say anything. You're just together in that moment until eventually you drift off as well. And you can all finally take a long rest and level up to level 2.
I've got 2 spell slots. What's up, motherfucker?
Hell yeah.
I got 3 spell slots.
I don't know what.
You've got 2 first level spell slots.
Right.
You've also got your Divine Smite.
Ooh.
I want to say there's another thing.
Game changer.
Yeah, you also get a fighting style.
Uh-oh.
Have you been already using that?
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I don't know why I put
I don't
it on
either.
my sheet.
We come up a couple times.
I'm assuming that's how you
which
were
one
like
did you-
blocking,
oh, blocking
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I put it on there if I
Well,
didn't have
it
it
just
yet.
happened
Yeah,
in
it's okay.
combat this time.
Yeah, that's true.
We're
This
just,
was the level up. I think you've used that once before.
I used it once.
It's fine.
You're just a prodigy.
Yeah.
I'm just breaking rules. Somebody is going to know that, and they're going.
Nobody watches the show.
People
They will.
So my other Eldritch invocation is False Life. So I get to cast
Fiendish Vigor, so you get
Fiendish Vigor. I cast False Life at will, which is like 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points.
Dang.
Yeah.
You all find your rest and awaken with renewed vigor, each of you. The day's losses before still are heavily felt throughout the camp. You were all, allowed to rest for as long as you needed to after all of the aid and assistance that you offered everyone. But you see that a number of the Luxons have already risen early the next morning, and the bodies of those who have fallen had been collected, and you can see that several pyres have been started just outside the mouth of the cave, where the bodies of the fallen are being burned. Some of them, others, you can see stones have been stacked around their bodies to serve as a sort of a monument or a grave to those who have fallen. And you get the sense that each of the Luxons carry their own faith in their own ways, and that faith is respected regardless of what it is, and each person is given their unique burial rites. Also, as you awaken, you see that most of the camp has already been torn down. Oddly enough, little trace of it remains where it has been taken down, and mostly just looks to be an empty cave. You see Alvir is awake. Looks like he got some rest at some point. He's standing a little bit of a distance from the makeshift prison with his arms crossed as you guys kind of like walk up on him. He's like, "Good morning, first of all. You're all looking much better. What do you think we should do about these ones? Is it worth transporting them with us, or should we just leave them to fend for themselves, let them go? Or if anyone has any other ideas, I'm open to this."
What would happen to them if we take them with us?
Well, they would be kept in chains until they prove they could be trusted. I don't know. It would take a lot of convincing for me for some of them. But we could also let them go and give them a chance to survive on their own.
Whether or not they choose to return to Canderil or not, seems like it would be foolish on their part, but
Wild
might.
idea.
It's the
What if we let them decide?
I am open to this if the rest of you are okay with it. You're the ones they attacked.
I mean, we had determined that some of them were just kind of like,
Yeah, a lot of the Felmen are just like, being punished for things that either weren't their fault or, for lack of a better term, are just dumb laws that they violated because they either had to or had no other choice.
but I mean, of the ones who attacked us, some of them were just kind of like, didn't know which side to pick.
Right, and
like,
yeah, but like at least one of them was like, yeah, oh yeah, he murdered people. That's why he's a Felman.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could interrogate them and try and figure out like what each of their individual stories are to try and gauge which ones are trustworthy and which ones are not. Or as Brody has suggested, you could just give them the choice.
I am open to giving them choice if it is okay with all of you.
Punishment would come either way, right?
Certainly. All right. If we're all agreed.
And he steps forward. All right, Feldman. And you see a couple of them like weren't fully awake yet, kind of like jolt up and sit up. It's like, I'm giving each of you the choice. We will either release you into the wilds so that you can make your way either outside of Canderil or back to its walls. Or if you choose, you can remain prisoners and come with us in the hopes of perhaps proving you can change your ways, maybe even eventually coming among our ranks. The choice is yours. And he steps forward, and Anchor kind of gives like a glare to Saoirse and states that he would prefer to take his chances. Alvir nods. The wolf Zoenveer, he's like,
I give him puppy dog eyes.
yeah.
We'll stay with the Luxons.
Flint is a woman who's very like tall and broad-shouldered, and I think Roan was that dude killed people. That's why he's here.
So Anchor left, Garnish stays.
Flint will also stay, and Roan will take his chances as well. Alvi nods, and several other Luxon come forward and basically like chain them together via their manacles before leading them out of the makeshift prison. Roan and Anchor are kept towards the back of that chain of 4. Yes, 4. As all the Luxons are now carrying like large packs on their backs, you guys have gathered up your things as well and begin to set out from the Twilight Cave. You get about maybe an hour into the wilderness before several of the Luxon have like arrows knocked and ready to draw. Others have like their hands on the pommels of their swords and things, giving a wide arc as the two, Anchor and Roan, are released from their manacles. And Alvi just kind of like points with a knife in the distance, and he's like, I would suggest going that way if you are looking to get back to Canderil. If you're not, I would suggest not going that way. He like motions in the other direction. They both kind of like look at each other and look in the distance and see like they're incredibly outnumbered at this point. They just kind of like nod. Roan gives a bit of a snarl with that kind of like brindled hair color that he's got going on, and both of them just kind of like slowly take a few steps back before turning and quickly rushing in the direction of Canderil.
Oh, they do go in the direction of Canderil.
At least they begin that way.
Interesting choice.
Maybe they're going to try to ambush us on the way.
Unless they try to get on Canderil's good side and tell them that we are planning attack.
I mean, we're planning on going in.
Are we even planning an attack?
I mean, we certainly are planning an attack, but the prisoners, he kind of like looks at the two remaining, he's like, we're not aware of that. But
Okay.
they might, I would wager that if they're going to believe a murderer and a thief, then probably things are worse off than we had already thought. Either way, we will be incredibly careful when we return. We are simply traders, bringing goods from outside the walls.
Yes. And no need to disguise ourselves.
Well,
Up to you.
except for Sirsha.
Right.
I mean,
Is
we don't
there
have to.
anyone else that you can think of that might recognize you? It has been 15 years, but there are some from Glomshore who still survive.
I mean, my glasses are much smaller now. I put on some weight, so maybe not.
I think it would be far-flung to think that anyone would see you and recognize, like, oh, you're that 10-year-old from 15 years ago. But
Right.
it's better to be safe than sorry.
That's true.
Like
You
as
are a
as you were
little
saying that,
I
you're
mean,
like, no need to disguise
distinct.
ourselves. I'm like shrinking 1 foot,
Yeah.
casting disguise self.
I think we're okay. I'm not so sure about the two of you.
A little
Well-
distinct.
But it was only like one
Well,
day.
We will not arrive in Canderil for a number of days still. I would like to set up a new camp, and we still need to do some trapping and hunting to get goods to sell. We do need to keep up that end of our facade. And in the meantime, you all you came here on a ship. Do you need to check
We
in?
probably should.
Also, I take it back. Probably you look more different than anyone.
Yes,
But still just-
trying to be a little bit less.
We left.
I
We
will
left the
say-
day. We left the day it happened.
We're not saying that anybody's recognizing her. We're saying that they stand out a bit.
I will say, I did not recognize you at first, Eric Sovir. You, last time I saw you, you were just quite tall. You've had many changes since then. But I will say, those of your kind are not common. I don't think I've ever met anyone precisely like you on the island. Outside of your family, but they are not here as far as I know.
Would be smart just to cover up a few features, I suppose.
I had an idea for communicating with the ship. There was a spell that I learned recently. I haven't gotten to try to cast it yet, but I think it'll let us send back a message, or at least carry a written message. I can summon, how would I describe it? A creature not of this plane, but one that would serve my needs. It would take the form of a creature of some sort. But I could summon one that could fly, in a flying form anyway, and then we could give it a written message and have it carry it back to the ship.
I mean, that seems safer than trekking back and forth.
Certainly. A flying creature would be optimal, I think.
Okay, I'll just need like an hour to get the ritual together here.
Sure.
If we have time.
Yes, while we are setting up camp, feel free.
Okay.
You're led through another thicket of trees. Everyone's very wary of trees and bushes at this point. They lead you through a thicket and to this small grove where there's a stream that actually runs down and meets the cobbled beach. And there's, just enough of an overhang that if you were further inland, you wouldn't be able to see the campsite set up down below. And also, if anyone were to approach from the ocean, you would be able to see that as well. They start setting up camp. As Magnus, you begin partaking in this ritual. What does the ritual look like? Like, what are you doing over the course of the hour?
So a lot of it is drawing like different like magical runes and symbols in a way that just kind of like focus power into a certain spot.
There's like 3 circles on within this sort of like mandala that you're putting together that are open, and the runes that kind of like channel those portions to the center. You place a feather in one, a scale in another, and a tuft of fur at the top. Take the time to draw this very intricate design. The rest of you seeing him do this, it's almost like art. It's incredibly beautiful and intricate the way that it's all put together, and there's like occasional like scrawlings of what looks like language in certain areas that none of you understand or can translate. And at the end, Magnus, you place your hands down and take a deep breath, and as you exhale, you feel this sense of weightlessness to yourself. And you open your eyes and you find yourself in this space where it's almost like you are among the Sparkwinds, and they're twisting and curling around you, and you see the glinting of distant stars, but you look down and there's nothing below you. It's just vast in every direction. You focus your thoughts, and what type of creature do you try to call forth?
So what I have in mind is like whatever freak version of owl we have, like maybe a cat owl or something, owl cat. But didn't we decide it would be like an actual, like regular owl?
You reach out and you close your eyes and you try to summon the energy of a cow, which are these flying creatures that have these large eyes and fangs within their beaks, as what we would know to be like a mixture of like a serval cat and an owl. Their feathers have that same kind of like spotted pattern that like a leopard would.
Cute.
You open your eyes and there's this odd creature hovering there before you, like nothing you've ever seen before. Actually, you tell me what it looks like.
So it's like a snowy owl, so it's just like white. And it'll have bright blue eyes.
Oh, interesting.
But I imagine that they shift to match like whatever color the Sparkwind is above in the sky at the moment.
100%. And it's got this very small beak compared to what you're used to. No fangs at all to speak of.
Like what?
But it does have talons that almost remind you of a croc. But it's like this odd, it almost looks like someone took a Zoanveer featherfolk and just like made them a much smaller, almost cuter version, which is odd. It hovers there before you. Its blue eyes are piercing as they shift to green, staring back into yours. And you hear as this voice emanates from it, almost in the same way that Sonder speaks to you, as you hear it say,
You seek a contract.
I do.
And what do you offer me in return?
What would be the traditional offering from like the research that I have done?
research that you've done in the past, it depends on the type of creature. If it's carnivorous, then it's usually some type of like food. You know that these creatures are very animalistic in nature, though they do, from your studies, it's said that they have a higher intelligence level than most beasts would, which Auric would probably cringe at as somebody who can speak with beasts and knows that they are all of a certain intelligence level. But yeah, typically things like food or shelter or safety would be things that you could offer them. But you also know that it is important that it needs to be something that you can provide. So like you wouldn't want to promise it safety and then be like, now fly into this cave and you might die, because then they might just sever their contract with you.
I mean, I'll offer it food and company and, you know, adventure if it likes that sort of thing.
The head kind of like tilts to the side for a moment before coming back level.
I accept this contract.
And suddenly the spark winds around you start to coalesce. It becomes so bright that you close your eyes and suddenly you're hit with this wave of cold and feel your hands down in the snow again as you come back to yourself on Ilvermere. For the rest of you, seconds, well, there was the hour of drawing everything. He placed his hands down and there's this flash of light, and before you is this strange feathered creature. Magnus, you open your eyes and you see the word now in your mind, the owl, before you. It just lets out a little.
Oh my, where the fuck am I?
It's just... yeah, and the rest of you hear a hoot. Auric, you hear, contract complete. What task would you like me to take, Master?
I'm gonna write up. What should we tell? What's his butt? Who's on the boat?
Finley.
Finley. Thank you. Maybe we can write up 2 notes. Maybe I can see if my new friend can also find.
Talos.
Yeah. And get him.
Yeah, maybe we tell him about that Talos split off from us and we're still fine.
As you're talking, the owl like turns and looks to you, and you swear you see like nod.
What is that?
just have him confirm that he is okay and to be aware that the ships are in danger of being stolen or destroyed, so he should keep it secret.
Write all this down.
Yeah.
On a note, I'll write one note for Talos and one note for Finley, and I'll roll him up and like tie him to his legs.
Yeah, he holds up his little talons for you to. They're quite large actually. If it's a snowy owl, just like lifts them up and allows you to tie a note to either side.
Pants.
I'm gonna telepathically give him the image of both Finley and Talos, so he knows what to look
Little
for
pants.
when he goes and like what direction. We know what direction the ship is,
Yeah.
and we vaguely know what direction Talos went off
Bullshit.
to. So he should get the ship first, and then from there he should go to wherever Talos was, and then
Yeah.
when he's accomplished that, he can return.
Yeah,
me.
you give him like distinct directions to the ship, and that it's along the coast, and then from there the direction that you know Thalos went to search in that area. The creature nods, and after those, like sharing those images, the voice returns to you, and I think Audic, you probably hear it as well. As like whenever it's communicating with you mentally, it's also like hooting.
Right.
So the rest of you hear hooting, but Audic, you can speak with beasts, so you understand its speech as well. As it says back to you,
Excellent. I will do this. I should warn you. After I get to a certain point, I will not be able to communicate with you. But I can sense your location and will return upon my completion of this task. Is this suitable?
Yes, and if you find yourself in danger, you should return to the pocket realm that
Yes.
that I can like bring you back from. I should be able to communicate with you in that pocket realm.
Yes,
So-
as is customary.
If I sense that you've returned to it, I'll know that you were in danger and could not continue. I'll grab something to eat. I'm looking for some meat.
I find some jerky.
Oh, thanks.
I have you.
just like swallows it whole,
And when he talks, it's just common, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
unless you're speaking mentally, then you guys wouldn't hear anything.
I'll say it out loud.
It gulps down the jerky down its gullet and then flutters off into the sky. Flying, actually, I say flutters off. As it takes off, silent.
Yeah, I'll make no noise when they fly.
Creepy.
And as it flies up into today it's very overcast. The overcast sky, it almost disappears its white feathers amongst the clouds. And as you send off your missives,
What is that? What was that?
I think I'm gonna name him Hush.
What is it?
He's my friend.
Yeah. That,
Is this like what Petra did with that strange small creature?
We don't know what Petra did, but
Yeah. I didn't create this creature. I summoned it from beyond this world.
Beyond indeed.
you also have noticed in your travels that Dravnir seems to have taken off in the night as well.
Oh, great.
You're not sure if they went off after Petra or...
probably.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Elvi, did you get any insight into Dravnir and where they came from?
A little bit, very tight-lipped, but I was able to get that the name Dravnir he has always had, and he doesn't know. He seemed very confused when I was asking about if he had a past before we met him. It seems like he feels like he did, like he remembers things, like he knew his name was Dravnir without it being told to him, but he does not remember.
Interesting. Didn't you speculate, Arix, that maybe they were beings who live among the Sparkwinds?
The Fateless?
The Fateless? Wasn't it?
Perhaps I don't think it is impossible to think with the things I've seen Petra do that perhaps he could pluck a lost soul from the Sparkwinds and place it into a physical body, a new physical body.
Alvi kind of like shudders at that thought, that this was like someone who died who is now forced to live again and not know of themselves.
I mean, maybe they're not forced. Maybe it's like what I just did and came to an understanding.
Perhaps a deal is struck or something. Petra seemed very upset after it happened, but I don't know if that has to do with what he did or if it's more just a side effect of, using that much of his power to do anything. Might just leave him distressed.
Perhaps.
He looks off in the distance. You can see that kind of like almost like concerned son looking after a parent who's left before he looks over all of the people that he has charge over now and just kind of steels himself.
Maybe he'll meet up with Brumthir and they'll heal each other somehow.
Bramfir and Drafnir. I hope not. That's a mouthful.
Oh, I think he meant Petra.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that would be great.
I kind of look down at my sword and I just say, a friend.
I hope so.
I'm gonna lean over to Erixavir. Do you think at some point we get a summoning friend? Do you think that's part of it?
I don't know. I have friends all the time, and I just like chubby marks or whatever.
One person.
Alvir's kind of
does not understand.
Alvir's stretching. He's like,
Oh, if you do, make it something we can ride on. I'm so tired of walking. It has been a long day of travel. We should all get rest. I will get together a hunting party and we will find some food for the evening as well as some pelts that we can sell on the morrow when we should arrive at Cateril. Steel yourselves, prepare however you can, and we can put together some tight-fitting cloaks for you, Saoirse, to contain your flames, should you wish. Excellent. Alvi goes off to begin hunting with his friends as you all set up camp for the night to prepare for tomorrow's endeavor back to Gloam Shore, newly named Canderil, to find out what's become of your old home. And
Probably
that's-
something good.
And that's where we're going to end this session of the Sparkwind Chronicles.